Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back to the planet at no cost to you, and there's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement. Only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
The Bachelorette and Friends. From first love to happy ever after.
What's that?
From dating to dick pics.
Oh my. Oh no!
The Bachelorette and Friends. Oh, I love a good dick.
This podcast contains sexual references, coarse language, and adult themes from the beginning and throughout. It is not recommended for listeners under the age of 15.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Bachelorette and Friends. I'm Carla Anita Matiazzo, and to my left is the gorgeous Lainey Jameson. What's up, Lainey?
Oh, thanks, Gorgie. Hanging with my girl, Carla.
Today's guest is the amazing Jacqui Leopardi.
Oh,
Hi,
stop.
Jacqui. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, ladies. Thanks for having me.
No worries. So should we tell everybody how we know each other, Jacqui? Can you remember?
I think it's pretty classy how we met.
Go on.
We met at Schoolies in Victor Harbour, where I met one of my first serious boyfriends, as you do at Schoolies, and he went to school with Carla. So we've known each other ever since. That was a long time ago.
I know, man. Very long time. We were 17, 18.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah.
So first impression of me was probably amazing. It would have been like drinking from a goon bag or something at Victor Harbour.
I loved you from the first moment we met, I think, Jacqui. I loved to hang out here at Tom's house too, from memory.
Yeah, we would have.
How long were you and Tom together? I don't remember.
2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's probably my first serious relationship, Tom was.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, cute.
We will delve into that shortly. But
Ooh.
to bring the listeners up to speed, the podcast is based on the premise of my award-winning cabaret show, The Bachelorette, There's Always a Catch, where I talk and sing about first love to what I thought was happy ever after and everything in between. So let's start there, Jacqui, before we talk about Tom Greenshields. Let's talk about first crushes. Can you remember yours?
I do remember my first crush because he asked me to go out with him and I didn't know what it was. And I look back now and shudder. But he was the local football club boy. I would have been about 13. And his name was Adam Hatswell. Hi, Adam, if you're listening. And I remember he sent his friend over to ask me out. And he said, will you go out with Adam? And I said, where would we go?
Oh, that's beautiful.
And he was a bit older, his friend, and I think he looked at me a little bit stunned, like, what are you talking about? And he said, I don't know, maybe you could go to the creek or something.
Yes, I remember.
And I said, my parents are pretty strict. I don't think I'll be allowed to go to the creek. So I completely missed it.
How old were you?
I would have been about 12, I think. It was just that concept of will you go out with? I think if he'd said, will you be his girlfriend or his boyfriend, I would have got it. But I'm like, where do we go? What happens? How does this work? So, yeah, I had no game at all, as we all do at 12, and missed my first opportunity at potential love.
Oh, Jacqui, I think you're doing pretty well now, so I don't think we need to worry about that.
You may have dodged
Made up for it. He's actually a lovely guy, so I see on Facebook. So
oh, lovely. And your attraction to the footy player has stayed. I see. Tom was a footy player, and
yeah, my husband's not now, but I did. I think I had two older brothers who played football, so I think I was always around the footy club, and it was a bit of a it was just what I knew. So a lot of my actually probably pretty much every boyfriend or boy I ever had until my husband was a footy player. And then he went completely against everything I'd ever looked for, which may be why it worked.
There you go. Isn't that interesting? So then from your crush where you missed the boat, where was your first relationship? So I like to say that high school relationships were like training wheels. What was your training wheel relationship? Did you have
That's a good analogy.
Thanks, man.
It's all those awkward like first kisses and I had a couple of training wheels in high school.
Yeah.
So I probably had, they were only ever short-lived until after school, but yeah, I think you know what it's like in high school where you're going out for a couple of months and you're like, yeah, we made the 1 mark or we made the 2 mark. So my first relationships, I guess, in high school never really lasted longer than 6 months, but it was the young love where you're going to parties and getting to know each other. And this was before Facebook or any of the social media or dating apps that we have now. So it was like talking on the phone under the covers so mum and dad didn't steal your mobile. MSN, I think MySpace was around. A lot of MSN, and like there was a code when your parents were looking over your shoulder and you put the code in so they'd know like not to talk. It was like, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, but there was some code, a couple of letters.
That's pretty funny, Jacqui. MSN was
That's huge.
late nights on MSN.
Yeah, that was Tinder of the olden days.
Only with people that you knew. I don't remember ever talking to people that I didn't know.
That's true, yeah. I don't even know if you could really, could you?
No.
Maybe.
So I can't remember, to be honest.
We were too well behaved, Carla.
Well, no, I wasn't.
MSN in the show, didn't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, in the cabaret show, we mentioned MSN.
Yeah.
Look, I was pretty good. I was pretty good on a lot of aspects as a teenager. I think my rebellion was having a boyfriend. To me, that was my rebellion against, the controlling parenting style that my mother had. So what did you learn, from those relationships as a teenager? What did you learn about boundaries? Give us the lowdown there.
I think I look back now and I probably didn't learn a lot of things until my 20s. I was quite naive. I don't know about you guys, but I was very impressionable. And I look back now and I remember my parents saying, I wish I knew then what I know now. And I'd be like, what a stupid saying. And I think that all the time. Like, I wish I could instill my knowledge into 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old Jacqui. Because, I think what I didn't understand was, A, boundaries, B, self-worth, and C, that you can do you and other people cannot like that, and that's okay. Yeah. Like, you don't have to give in to the peer pressure. You don't have to be kissing boys because your friends are kissing boys. You don't have to be, talking about, oh, my God, what base did you go to? You can just be who you are, and that's something you learn with age, and I probably learned that a little bit later. What about you guys?
Oh, totally the same, Jacqui. Totally. It's like I'm talking to a mirror.
It's interesting, the whole peer pressure thing, because I remember the year that we finished school, I remember going to the beach with, do you remember Jenna? Did you ever meet?
Yeah, big boobs, Jenna.
Yeah.
They were huge.
So I remember going to the
yes.
Wow. I remember going to the beach with her one day, and there was a group of dudes that started talking to us, random dudes that we didn't know. They were around our age bracket, and one of them was interested in Jenna, and I guess the other one was I don't know, I'm assuming the other one was interested in me, because the two of them, one was talking to me and one was talking to Jenna. At some point, I remember Jenna walking over to me, her and I having our own conversation back at our stuff while the boys were in the water. Don't even know their names at this point, I don't think. Cannot recall them at all. I remember her being like, just kiss one of them. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't know this bloke. I'm not going to kiss him. Why should I kiss him? She's like, oh, because I want to kiss the other one. But if you don't kiss that guy, then I dude, you fucking do you. If you want to kiss that guy, go for it. But I don't fucking do it. So that's up to you. But the whole peer pressure thing of if that person's doing this and everybody else is fuck, I'm so glad I passed that bullshit.
Yeah, good on you though. For I would have kissed, I think. I would have been like, all right. Even I think back to my very first kiss, which is always awkward, but is meant to be memorable. And I think it was on the school oval with like 20 kids around me doing the countdown until the and then doing the count of how long it went.
Gross. My first kiss was with Dale Osborne around the in year 8, around the back of one of the buildings at school at the end of the school day, and all these other kids were walking past us to school, and we were just macking out like no tomorrow. And I remember one of the older kids saying, "Ew, gross." I remember that. That's all I remember. What about you, Lenny? Do you
can't even remember. It mustn't have been very memorable.
Oh, shit.
Make one up.
That's it from my memory.
Yeah. Put it away.
Throws it away because it's just terrible.
Oh, man.
Must have been that good.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah.
No.
It's like Mr. Bean kissing you or something. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
First kiss is literally like a washing machine. You're like, what is this?
Fine, isn't it?
Yeah. Why is everyone doing this? It's gross.
I know. But now, isn't it funny though? I can't get excited without a kiss. Isn't it funny?
Yeah.
It's from fuck, that's gross to if I'm not going to get a kiss, then nothing else is happening.
I'm pretty sure our kisses have come a long way though.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, from the washing machine.
I don't know if the washing machine would get you in the mood.
I'll have to get a report card out next time I kiss somebody and be like, can you grade me so I know if I've improved or not?
Future me.
So from our washing machine kisses and those relationships, obviously the next one would have been Tom, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So walk us through that. How did Tom woo you?
Oh golly. I think it was night 1 of schoolies.
Yeah, night 1. Wow.
Oh,
hello.
And our campsites were very close to each other.
So
And
people have spoken about the love
proximity.
comes from proximity in this podcast on other episodes. So proximity.
really? Yeah, definitely proximity and convenience. And I think we were, as 2 groups, were walking into the main street of Victor Harbour for like the schoolies party, and we bumped into each other and just were talking the whole way, and that like we literally were inseparable for the rest of schoolies, which probably ruined his plans. Like, 18-year-old guy going to school, he thought he was going to pick up all these chicks and got locked down.
Yeah, I think he hit the jackpot there.
yeah.
Oh, stop. So, yeah, we were together for almost 2 years after that. And that was, as I said, my first real relationship where you kind of become a part of each other's families and friendship groups. And we did live on opposite.
He's got a family, so that would have been.
He does.
I've only met your fam bam briefly a few times, but both sides of the family in that,
They're good.
was lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably, going to the end of the breakup, that's probably the hardest thing about breaking up is when you love their family.
Yes, absolutely.
So what
So
was it
hard.
about Tom that made you go, yes, please?
I'm a sucker for a bald head, like a shaved bald head.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the receding hairline, I really get it. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's weird. I love it. Yeah, it's strange. And I think his confidence, he was pretty drunk when we met, so it was probably false confidence.
Dutch marriage.
He was.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, we just hit it off. We just got off on really well. I think similar interests. Yeah, I don't even know. I can't tell you. It was a very long time ago, Carla.
It was a very long time ago. But I remember we did a lot of going to pub meals together. I remember us doing a lot of that. So what is Tom doing now? Do you even know? I have no idea. Is he married?
I do. I can't.
What's he doing?
Deleted from Facebook. So this still hurts me actually, because when did we break up? It would have been 15 years ago. And we still kept in contact because we had a lot of mutual friends, but only in the last few years he's deleted me.
I don't know. I don't think he's on any of my stuff. I would know nothing.
Oh,
I've got his brother and his sister on my.
I think he's done a cull.
Yeah, I reckon.
But no, he's married with a baby now, so I think he's doing really well, which is good. Yeah. And I do keep up to date a little bit through mutual friends. But yeah, that's Tom.
So from Tom, who was next?
I had a little fling in between Tom and my husband.
Okay, let's hear about the fling. Let's hear about all the salty shit. As much as you have, yeah, go for it.
It was a very sexual fling.
Yeah.
So it was quite physical rather than emotional or spiritual or mental. And it probably lasted a couple of months, and it came at the right time. It was that, we were both not inclined into a relationship. It was just right timing, right place, and it ran its course, and that was pretty much it. But it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah, it's good to get that out of your system when you're young. And then you, young lady, went straight into the relationship that you're in now with your hubby.
Yeah. So we've been together 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I look back at everything, and I believe in the universe and that everything happens for a reason. And my relationship is more than ever convincing of that. Yeah. Because we actually shared a lot of mutual friends, but he dated for a long time my best friend's sister's best friend. Oh, wow. Strange. But we would have been at so many parties together and never ever met that we know, but we would have been there. But if we had have met, it would have been like, that's, my girlfriend's friend, little sister's friend, or that, and I would have been like, oh, that's Kelly's boyfriend. And it wouldn't have gone any further ever, I don't think. Yeah. And then he moved overseas, and one of our mutual friends moved in with me, and we were housemates, and we had a lot of his friends' furniture who lived overseas, which was Jamin, my husband. So I knew of this Jamin guy because I had his futon, I had his couch, and I had all his furniture. And that was he was overseas for 2 years. And then the week he moved back, I still thought he was Kelly's boyfriend. And he moved back, and we went to my housemate's birthday party. He was there, and we literally never spent a day apart after that. It was like he came back that night and nothing happened. He was such a gentleman. And then, it was like every night after that, he just kept coming back, and it was never even like, are we boyfriend, girlfriend? It just was like, okay, we're together. That's it.
So how do you sustain a long-term relationship like that? So what steps happened in between getting together, getting engaged, then married? Because obviously I would have no fucking idea. So what is it that keeps you guys together? Because you guys are gorgeous together, and you're very supportive of one another. You've got 3 beautiful children. How does that all fucking happen? Because it's a mystery to me.
Yes, me too.
I think I look back at our relationship, and there's definitely different stages. You have that first initial attraction where it's very physical and you can't keep your hands off each other, and it's like, the honeymoon period, I guess. We definitely had that, and that lasted quite a while. It was over a year of like, I'm obsessed with you, I don't want to leave you, you're amazing. And then you kind of get into daily routine, and that's probably the stage where I think it is not the hardest, but where you have to consciously make an effort. So it's making time for each other. It's communicating. He was always massive on communication, which I think probably helped us overcome any issues that we may have had early on. So he would never let us go to sleep on an argument. He'd always want to talk everything through. And I think sometimes as a girl, you just want to shut down because you want to process it. Maybe not as a girl, maybe just me. You want to process it. And I would be like, I don't know how to get my words out. I'm just angry, or, I'm just upset. But he would make sure we spoke it through. So by the end of it, I was over it. I had nothing left inside of me. There was never bringing up old issues because they were always dealt with.
Oh, brilliant. Wonderful.
And I reckon it was still a learning. He's definitely an older soul than me. He's the constant. I think I had a lot of growing and learning to go early on in our relationship, and he kind of supported me with that. And then when you get engaged, it's like this excitement and, buzz. And then you get married and you get into a routine. But we were pretty determined to have children quite early. And I mean, we'd been together 8 years at this stage when we had our son. And then it's a different love. Like it changes. You cannot imagine life without them. You've created this family and you have to support each other and be there for each other or it won't work. And we just know how we work. And yeah, I mean, we don't really argue. He's not an arguing type of guy, but we get shitty at each other. We're normal.
Being the focus with him being so hot on communication, that probably sorts out all the opportunities where arguments may happen if one or the other wasn't so aware of how to communicate.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And we did actually do a course. What's that?
It's a gift.
It is, definitely.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I've got a good one, I know.
Yeah.
He is Italian, so you would know, Carl. I get told quite often how lucky I am from Nonna.
Yeah. I'll fucking tell Nonna to relax. All the fucking Nonnas say the same thing about all the fucking boys in their family. Tell her to relax. Like,
you're so lucky, you're a good boy. You do washing.
Well, yeah, as we're in a different generation now, Nonna. Of course, we all fucking do it.
Chip
together.
in.
Oh, God.
She cracks me up. You should see her with the kids. So there's been so many occasions where I'm like, I just have to close my eyes. The other day we're over there. I've got a 5-month-old baby. And she was crying, as babies do. Like, she needed to cry. And anyway, I walk around the corner and Nonna's walking towards her with a dummy covered in sugar. And she's like, this good for her.
No, fuck off, Nonna. Fuck off.
This good for her.
Oh, it's not.
But no, I love his family. I get on very well, especially with Nonna. Actually, we're quite close, so it's been nice. I think that was another important thing is I'm like English Australian, but very close with my family. He's Italian Australian, very close with his, so we shared those values. And yeah, I think we did share a lot in common and a lot of friends in common, which we didn't know at the time, but has been very convenient because we just kind of have one friendship group now.
Yeah, that makes things easier. So that means, Jacqui, you got to miss out on all the bullshit that comes with online dating and unsolicited dick pics and fucking catfish situations. You got to miss
completely
out on all bullshit.
Is that a bad thing? Sometimes I feel like I missed out.
No, you didn't. No, I would much rather be in your position than go through that bullshit.
Yep.
But isn't it quite straightforward? Like, don't you know what you're in for, what they want? It's like bang, bang, bang.
No,
so love is dead.
Educated by the show.
Yeah.
And learning all about online dating and catfish and dick pics. Oh, bloody hell. I'm glad I missed out on all that.
Yeah. Look, often you would turn up to a date and the dude that you end up on meeting at the date is not the dude on the profile.
No.
Yeah.
So they sit down at the table and you're like, what are you doing? Who are you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not the safest thing, Jacqui. Like, it's not the safest thing.
Do you let them pay for your meal before you say, see you later?
No, sometimes, look, it depends what mindset I was in. Sometimes I'd be like, okay, this is clearly going nowhere, so I'm going to get as much material as I can out of this. That's where my mind used to go. Or I used to politely do my best in the situation and go, look, I'm really just uncomfortable. I feel like you misrepresented yourself online and
on you.
I feel like I'm talking to a different person. I don't feel comfortable. So I think we should just leave it there, maybe.
Good on you.
But man, I wish I was in your shoes than some of the like legitimately dangerous experiences that come from that.
Yeah,
man. So,
but that's great that you.
So go ahead.
It's good that you have a tool to share it in, because you think about, a lot of the young girls, this is just the beginning for them. Imagine what it's going to be like in 5 years' time. So I think we have had a shift consciously, but it's about women being empowered to say no and to know when they have that gut feeling and to piss off out of there.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, absolutely.
Correct. So, Jacqui, do you have any words of advice out there for the single people or for the married people? Single people, how to get married. and then for the married people, how to sustain a healthy marriage. And for the listeners that are listening to this episode, Jacqui is actually an award-winning marriage celebrant. So, Jacqui, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you?
I'm glad you told them that after we've talked about my sex life. That's you can find me at JacquiLeopardiCelebrant.com or on socials. I think my biggest advice, something that I've actually found being a celebrant is, I sit down with my couples and I ask them very similar questions every time. And I do find that couples who seem to have a great connection, and it is, very hard for me to judge because I only see the face that I'm showing at these meetings. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors. But the couples that seem to work really well are either couples who have a lot of things in common, so they share common interests, or couples who have similar or opposite personalities.
Okay.
So you'll see them, they'll operate the same, they'll think the same, or they complement each other because they are very different, and where one lacks, the other will pick up. Mm-hmm. So that's something that I've seen consistently in couples before they get married. I don't know if that helps you as a single person, what you need to be looking for, but it definitely helps to have something in common, I think. Mm-hmm. And then for married couples, oh God, I feel like I'm not one to give advice on this. You just need to find a man like my husband, and then you find...
So what we need to do is we need to get stem cells from your husband.
Yeah.
Make another one and we'll be fine. Okay, cool.
I definitely got gold.
Can I get these stem cells, Jacqui?
Yeah. Lay down, babe. It's okay. No, it's definitely about communication. Yeah. And something that I think we learned very early on was to put ourselves in their shoes. So think about how they're feeling, what this situation might be making them feel, and how they're reacting. So communication, and then also keeping the spark alive, whether it's a smashing a glass of wine at home or doing date night. We actually do drunk cleaning.
Oh, what? Tell us what that is about.
It's so fun. So on a Saturday night, we'll drink like a bottle or two of wine and we'll clean the house. So you kind of do it together. You've had a few drinks. It's kind of like a date. It doesn't feel like a job. And you have a bit of fun with it.
That's cute. That's so creative. So how has your relationship evolved during COVID? Has there been any changes?
We have probably had a bit of a change over the last few months because I gave birth to our third baby at the peak of COVID. So we were in full lockdown when I had her, which meant when we came home, we couldn't have any visitors. And being third baby, that was actually beautiful because we could just bond as a family of 5. Kind of knew what we were doing. We could just get on with it. We didn't need a lot of support at that stage. So that was a good element of it, and I think we got a lot more time together. The other aspect was he was working from home, so he went from 5 days a week being out of the house to being in the house, and it was quite hard to switch off knowing that he was in the room next door. Like, if there was a nappy that needed to be changed, yeah, he had to set the boundaries quite early that I'm actually at work. It did come in, it was great because my son's in kindy, so if the baby was asleep, I could just pop and drop him to kindy and leave the baby at home. So that was great. But it definitely has morphed that we have had to find new boundaries within a small space. And I think as a mum, being a mum, you feel quite judged as it is, but there are moments where you sit down on the couch or do something and then he'll walk out of the office and you'll be like, oh, I've just sat down for 5 seconds. Like, I've been working all day. So it was just seeing each other in different state. You know, I would hear him in his meeting calls and hear how he speaks to people, and I was like, oh, I didn't know he was so authoritarian. So, yeah, it's just different us, I guess. And we're definitely adjusted to it now because he's still working from home. Yeah. And, yeah, it's a different stage. We're not sick of each other, which is good, I think.
Oh, that's nice. Because what I've noticed through like Facebook in particular, it's either been separations or babies. That's what I've seen through my feed has been separation after separation after separation, or baby, 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 baby.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how polarizing COVID has been, I think.
Yeah, people have had to spend time with each other, which has made them realise if they like each other or not.
Correct. So what would you give as a marriage celebrant? Do you give your couples like any advice before they get married, or how do you go about things, madam?
I don't. So I legally have to refer them to marriage counselling, which is something that all celebrants have to do. Yep. So I let them know that if they would like pre-marriage counselling, these are the options. But I realised very early on that I would meet with couples, and in my head, what I thought, you know, might be a normal relationship or not a normal relationship, there is no boundaries to what works for different people. So I could be sitting there looking at a couple thinking, oh my God, these guys are not going to work. And they do, because they work and they're great together because that's just them. So I can't portray what I see as a healthy relationship onto other couples because my normal is not their normal. Yeah. So I definitely don't give advice anymore. And you know, in all the people I've married, there's probably only 2 where I just wanted to shake one of them and be like, get out, like this is not good. Most of them are beautiful.
I was going to ask you whether you've had that experience. So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. One of them was, it was almost awkward. I'm scared to talk about it in case they're listening, but it was.
Totally. I can relate. So I've played at a lot of weddings. And there's been one so, oh man, I don't think you guys are going to make it. It's just it's really interesting.
There was one couple where she was like, you know, I want to take out in sickness and in health, because, you know, if you're stuck in a bed, I'm not going to stay with you, or if you're poor, I'm not going to stay with you. And I was like, oh God, but it worked for them.
Wow.
So
it's a bit intense.
People just have different expectations.
Yeah. I suppose.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess we're human.
Yeah.
It'd be boring if we were all the same.
Yeah, no. Sure.
That's very true.
So, are there any lessons that you've learned through your love journey that you think would be useful for anybody listening, Jacqui?
Lessons. I think the most important one is honesty. Even if you know that your partner is not going to like what you have to say, it's important to be honest, because when you are dishonest, that can cause more pain than the truth. So, yeah, I always try to be honest with everything that I do, knowing that being honest and dealing with it is better than the outcome of dishonesty.
Excellent.
That's excellent advice.
I think that's beautiful advice. I think that is a perfect note to end on, Jacqui.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for your time. It's been brilliant.
Lovely to have a chat.
Delightful.
Seeing your gorgeous face. It's been very enlightening and lovely and light for a Wednesday evening. This is when we're recording this, people. Thank you, Jacqui. It's been beautiful.
No worries at all. Big love and hug to you both.
Big love and hug right back.
Thanks. Have a good evening, darling.
Thank you. Speak soon.
Stay gorgeous.
Bye.
Bank of the West is offering the 1% for the Planet checking account. It gives back 1% of the account's net revenue to the planet at no cost to you. There's no monthly service charge with any deposit per statement, and there's no minimum balance required. The 1% for the Planet checking account, only from Bank of the West. Learn more at bankofthewest.com/1%. Additional conditions apply. Member FDIC.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.